Yeah. Do
Omaram kids.
Omaram.
Omaram. So guess what is story today? Any guess? Today I brought a new story. And story of Gautam Swami. Anybody of you heard about Gautam Swami? Hello. So first of all, Gautam Swami was disciple of Bhagwan Mahavir. So what type of disciple? So his name was Indrabhuti and his surname was Gautam. And Swami, when he became a monk, then he became a Swami. Gautam Swami. So specific designation was Gandhar. As you know, Arhat, Siddh, Acharya, Upadhyay, Sadhu and Sadhvi. I hope you all know, and later we will discuss more. But I think, do you know about Gandhar or not? Gandhar means chief disciple. You can unmute yourself. Do you know about Gandhar?
No.
No. Anybody?
They're disciples and they also help to protect.
Only kids.
Oh, sorry.
So, Gandhar means chief disciple. Not only disciple, not only follower. There are thousands and millions follower and disciples Also, those who are lay male followers, lay female followers, followers known as Shravak. Lay female followers known as Shravika. And ascetic followers, monks. Ascetic nuns, like monks and nuns, both coming under the asceticism. So they are means disciple. But the core disciple, the chief disciple, and these disciples have a lot more responsibility. So I'll later discuss on about who is Gandhar, why is Gandhar, and how they have that, what type of capacity they have. So I will discuss. But how Gautam Swami came into close contact of Mahavira. So it is 599 BC, before Christ or before Common Era. There was lot more things happen, and the things were like yagna. Do you know yagna means sacrificial rite, and that is putting so many things in the fire like om swaha, like water, then ghee, then flour, then sometime coins, then rice and sweet and this and that, and sometime brutally they sacrifice animals. And more than that, sometime they sacrifice other thing as well, and somewhere else human sacrifice also. So these are the very important Brahmin. His name was Somil, and he did a yagna, a sacrificial rite. So he invited nearly thousands of Brahmins, and he did a big feast and big gifts, and he just invited 11 chief Brahmins, and among them the first one is Gautam Swami. Then in the line Indrabhuti Gautam, Agni Bhuti Gautam, and different up to Sudharma. So these 11 Gandhar, they were Brahmin, and each of them have 300, 400, 500, 500 like disciples. So they came like kings, and the sacrificial rite was about to start. But suddenly there was a change. People seen that some public is going in a flow, and lots of people are going in a different direction. Then someone asked, why people are not coming in this yagna, and why they are going in the different direction? Even some divine beings are also going. So they ask, who is there? Then someone came out and they tried to find out what is this, and they got information that Lord Mahavira came there in the same city, and outskirts of the city in the big huge congregation is there, and there is a samavasaran, and people are going there to listen Bhagwan Mahavir's preaching. So you say, who is this Mahavir? What type of power this has? And then why not people and goats are coming towards us? Why they are going there? Then Indrabhuti Gautam and the old chief, 11 Brahmins.
I'm doing it right now.
Let us go and find out what is there. So they all went, and you see the congregation assembly hall, which is known as Samavasaran. All animals, birds, divine beings, monks, nuns, lay followers, lay female followers, all are listening there. So they thought, oh my God, so beautiful assembly hall. Then they thought, might, it could be. And then the Indrabhuti Gautam entered. As soon as he entered, Mahavira said, Gautam, come here, calling Gautam by his name. Then first of all, he astonished, oh, how he knows my name. And then suddenly his ego answered, definitely, I'm a famous Brahmin, and under me, nearly 400 disciples. So who don't know about me? My knowledge, my name and fame is everywhere. So in this ego, they reached there. And all Brahmins were also following him. And as soon as he reached there, he thought, if Mahavira can answer what doubt I have, and that is my inner secret, nobody knows. If he can open my secret, then I can understand he has some power. And then Mahavira says, oh Gautam, you have doubt about existence of the soul. And then he caught, oh my God, I never talked about it. I never shared to someone. How he knows that this is my top secret. And then Bhagavan Mahavir answered so many questions. And then he said, oh Lord, I'm lucky. You have cleared my path. And now your path is my path. I would like to dedicate my life in your feet. And there and then he initiated into monkhood. You see in the picture, he had the turban, so he put the turban off and getting ready. And then what happened? Mahavira given him initiation into monkhood, but all his followers and all 10 Brahmin, they also, the head of their own congregations, they also have different type of like doubts in their mind. Might be when I take the story of Gandhara, then I will tell you in detail. So these doubts solved by Mahavira and Bhagavan Mahavir given initiation to 11 chief disciples. And when their head is initiated, the all thousands of Brahmin, they thought, we should also get initiation. We should follow the footprint of our Lord, our Guru. And they also dedicated to the Mahavira. So that day, first time, Gautam Swami became the first disciple. And after Gautam, you know, it is a good omen. And people try to keep the name of Gautam reciting. So Gautam came and the door of Jain congregation opened. First time, thousands of monks and nuns initiated under Bhagwan Mahavir's congregation. And then Bhagwan Mahavir did his preaching, and that preaching taken by Gautam and other Gandharas, you know that Gautam, being a chief disciple, he was so humble. And when he initiated, he was 50 years old, but he was like a child and he was like a novice, so dedicated, so humble. This is great quality of Gautam Swami. And due to that quality, he got great knowledge within him. And what happened? He acquired so many superpowers. So I'm giving you one example, and that is Akshina Mahalabdhi. If Gautam goes out to collect food, he brought food for himself only. But by his hand, if he tried to serve other people, he can serve thousands of monks and nuns. Because his labdi was Akshina Mahanasi labdi. He brought just little bit, like 2 chapati, rice, dal, sweet, or something, and by touching his hand, if he served, that bowl never empty. So that type of labdhi known as Akshin Mahanasi Labdhi, non-diminishing power. Whatever he touch and serve, he can give abundant. From a small bowl, he can serve thousands. So this was his great labdhi. He asked thousands and thousands questions. And in Agam, specifically Bhagavati Sutra, there are thousands of questions. I think I will talk later about his knowledge, what he did for congregation, and how many Gandhar of Bhagavan Mahavir. Everything I will know in the next step of story, and how much Gautam Swami was attached to the Mahavira, like you attached with your mom, sometime your dad, your sister, your brother. So how he was with Mahavira. So everything I will take it later. So I stop here and I open the floor for the questions. I hope you have lots of questions. So now floor is unmuted. Just say your name and ask the question. Okay. Do you have any question?
I have one question.
Yes. Who is you?
Vriddhi.
Vriddhi. Most welcome, Vriddhi.
What is Labdhi?
Labdhi is a special power and that could be acquired by, gained by special fasting, special mantra chanting, or special type of penance.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
I have a question.
Who is there?
Risha.
Risha, great. Open your question.
How did Lord Mahavira feed 100 people?
Not Mahavira, Gautam Swami. Gautam
How did he
fed
feed so many people?
because you know, as I told you that he had that power Suppose if your mom cooked food for 2 people, then your mom can feed only 2 people. But if Gautam Swami collected food for 1 or 2 people, he has that power, and through that power he can feed, and that power is known as Labdhi.
Okay.
You got my answer, understand or not?
I understand.
You see, like some people get power by their penance and meditation, and what they can do, if they touch other, suppose I have headache and they come and touch, they can make it, oh, now headache gone. Sometimes stomachache and they touch and the stomachache gone. So that type of labdhi is amarshya labdhi. Spurs through their touch, they can heal other people.
Okay.
So there are more than 30, 40 labdhis in Jainism.
Okay.
Any other question? No? So, no worry. Now, I would like to ask who is going to say story today?
Vriddhi.
Is there Vriddhi? Vriddhi, start.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you can share, you have presentation?
Yes.
Okay. So, you can share.
I'm sure. So I'm going to tell you an interesting story about Kapil Muni.
Wow.
In Kaushambi, there was a royal priest named Kashyap Sastri. He had a son who was named Kapil. Kapil grew up in luxury and did not care for studying. Consequently, when his father died, the priesthood was passed on to another Brahmin. Kapil's mother was very sad to see this happen. The mother sighed and said, "My son, I regret that you did not become the royal priest. If you would have studied well, you would have succeeded your father's position." These words moved Kapil. He made up his mind to get a good education. He went to a friend of his father in the city of Shravasti. His name was Indradatta Upadhyaya. He started teaching him. According to the practice of that time, Kapil had to get his food by asking for alms. That took so much of his time and affected his studying. Indradatta therefore requested a wealthy man of the town to arrange his food. The man arranged Kapil's food at the place of a young Brahmin named Manorama. Kapil now started taking his food at Manorama's place. Kapil and Manorama became friends. One day, Manorama became sad. Kapil asked her the reason. Manorama said that there is a Dasi festival tomorrow and I have no money to attend. If at all you can help. Kapil knew that the king gave 2 gold coins to a person who first bestows benedictions on him every morning. He decided to go to the palace early in the morning to get the gold and give the gold to Manorama. The next day, Kapil reached the palace in the morning, but some other Brahmin had already reached the palace. The next day, too, Kapil was late. He tried for 8 days, but every time he was late. Kapil became displeased with himself. He decided to sleep in the garden so that he could be the first at the palace. Soon he noticed the moon in the horizon. He mistakenly took it as sunrise and started running towards the palace. A policeman who was patrolling the street saw Kapil. running towards the palace. He suspected him to be a thief and arrested him. Kapil tried to explain his position to the policeman, but he simply said, "You may tell your story to His Majesty in the morning." In the morning, Kapil was brought to the royal court. He was trembling because he had never been in the court before. The king noticed the fear in his face and thought he could not be a thief. The king asked him, "Who are you? What were you doing at midnight?" Kapil humbly replied, "Your Majesty, I am a Brahmin and I was running to get to the palace to confer blessings upon you." Kapil said, "Your Majesty, I've been trying to confer my blessings upon you for the last 8 days to earn 2 gold coins, and I was always late. So last night I got up very early in order to be the first one, but that did not work, and here I am before you as a culprit." Kapil told the king his entire life story and how he got under the influence of his lover and came here to get those 2 gold coins. Kapil asked for forgiveness and offered to take any punishment for this mistake. The king said, "You have suffered too much for 2 gold coins. O Brahmin, I am pleased with your honesty and permit you to ask anything that you want, and I shall grant it." Kapil asked for some time to think. Now Kapil started thinking, "I should ask for 10 gold coins instead of 2. But how long would that last? I should ask for 50 gold coins. But that won't be enough for late expenses." He continues to think of more and more until he reached 10 million coins. He thought even that won't be enough for maintaining prosperity for his whole life. He then thought of asking for half the kingdom and ultimately the entire kingdom. Suddenly, he thought, "The king has been kind enough to give me whatever I want. Why shall I make him so miserable? That is not fair. Should I ask for 10 million gold coins? What is the use of that much money? Too much money brings troubles. I will ask for 10,000 coins. Should I ask for 1,000 coins? 100? 50? 25? He decided not to ask for anything more than what he had gone for. That was only 2 gold coins. But Kapil still kept on thinking. It's desires that make one unhappy. It also leads to greediness, which is the root of all sins. In order to get rid of it, I should ask for nothing. Look where my desire has led me. Forgetting that I came here to become a learned man, I have been drawn into a situation, losing morality and becoming a beggar. Let me stay content. I will not ask for anything." This leads him to true Gyan. Kapil went back to the palace. The king said, "O Brahmin, what have you decided?" Kapil replied, "Your Majesty, I did not want anything from you." The king got surprised. He asked, "What?" Kapil replied, "Your lordship, desire is the root of all evils. The more one gets, the more greedy he becomes." In Agam, there's a slok which says, "Ichau aga sama anantya," which means desires are like sky, endless. Adwe asa sayami. Life is temporary, and for this temporary life, we should not be greedy and should not desire too much. Kapil said, "O king, I do not need anything. Contentment is the supreme wealth, and I am happy with that." With these words, Kapil left with the sense of complete detachment and he renounced worldly life. Moral of the story: temptation is evil, and truthful person makes everyone his. Shamiji, can we do
Great.
questions?
Yeah, we can open the floor for all the students, but do you know how is the greed is suppose in our personal life, how greed affect us? Suppose in your wardrobe, in your eating stuff, in your coloring, in your other gadgets. So is there greed or not?
Yes.
Suppose you have plenty, but you see something beautiful, and then you ask your parents, I want this, I want that. Is that greed or need?
Greed.
Great. Very good. But you presented Riddhi very well. And I ask you kids, just one thing. He kept to his Brahmin Manorma. Manorma is the maid servant of the Brahmin. Huh? So just small correction in your story, but whole story, and you can add this story is from Uttaradhyan Sutra. Beautiful. You presented beautiful. I'm so happy. And I ask all kids, please prepare one nice story with picture, with presentation. Might be during this Pajushon week, we can do one story from the kids. Okay?
Yes, Samniji.
And in my
How about the story you said?
yes,
Omaram.
Omaram and
Omaram.
Omaram.
yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Omaram.
Omaram.
Um,
So see you again. Huh? Omaram.
Excuse me, हम सब आपके आभारी हैं.
And thank you to parents as well.
Excuse me, हम सब आपके आभारी हैं.
Riddhi, who helped your dad or mom?
Both.
Both.
Yeah.
Good, good. But you
Samniji,
did,
can we do questions?
if other people want, because today I have one session at Ireland. So my time is over. It is 8 o'clock. 7:30 to 8 o'clock is my class here. Then I have 8 to 9 my class at Ireland. So is it okay?
Yes.
But I think all kids say Omaram for Riddhi.
Omaram.
Riddhi.
Omaram.
Omaram. And
Omaram.
other kids also send me text that Samniji, next time I would like to say story. We can add them.
Samniji,
Ah. And this Gotham story, I will carry on in next time also, because few things I have to add. So you, these stories, you have to keep in your mind who is Gandhar, what type of Labdhi Gotham Swami has, and what was his doubt, because this would be the part of your quiz. There would be a global quiz of Gyansala, JB Gyansala. Okay, so keep my story also in your mind, because it would be a part of your exam. Okay.
Omaram.
Omaram.
Manami naman sa amin.